All right, so let's jump into content. Illustration 1, GRD 132. If you don't know me, my name is Miss Smith. I've been here for about 8 years, and illustration is my thing. I absolutely love it. And I've tried to come up with some modern projects for you all this semester, and there's going to be a brand new one at the very end. It's not going to be this, but we're going to do, our first one's going to be geometric patterns, which is very popular right now. This will also help you in graphic design 3, graphic design 4. Isometric illustration, this is always a fun one. It's like thinking backwards and upside down, but you can do it. Then we're going to get into Adobe Illustrator's new 3D techniques. And on the final project, we're going to do something that's a collaborative project. So it might be a calendar. Everybody does a page. We have it printed. We sell it. It might be a mural. I'm not sure yet. I'd like to actually brainstorm with you all to see if you have ideas on that one too. But you would do whatever illustration style you wanted, but we would have specific themes. Right now I've got it as a calendar with Theo the Trojan on each page, but in a different environment. But we'll do some brainstorming when we get closer to that. Does anybody have any questions before we start? Nope. All right. So before each module, I'll have a little demonstration or an introduction with a small presentation. And then I'm also going to be recording these on Collaborate. So if you need to miss or you have to, stay home, you can always have access to those recordings. I'll show you where those are. Let me zoom in a bit, turn my brightness up. So if you go to the Collaborate button on the Blackboard right here, drop down the hamburger menu, go to recordings. That's where you can find all the recordings from the class. I do create a new one each day, so it will be dated and it will have some subject matter on it. Just a heads up. But let's jump into geometric patterns. So you have your assignment summary. We're going to have a short presentation today on geometric patterns. Then I'm going to do a tools demonstration, which is exactly what you'll be doing for your practice assignment. So it's 10 pages of different techniques in Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to demonstrate it. I'm going to record it. Then you can go on your own and do it, okay? Just touching on some of the tools you might need for this project. We then have a 10-question quiz on the presentation itself, the demonstration. So hopefully you'll learn some things and you'll be able to answer some questions. Then we have our geometric pattern assignment. And then we have geometric pattern mock-ups. So you're going to be using some Photoshop for that. And I'll walk you through all that, do some demonstration on how to create smart objects and use mock-ups that you can find on FreePic or other places. So let's jump in. Are y'all ready? All right. So I'm using Canva for my presentations because I love it. It's so easy. So if you have presentations to do in other classes, do it in Canva. Oh, it's so easy. So we just go to present here. And we're going to jump into geometric patterns. They are versatile, eye-catching, and widely utilized. You'll see them everywhere. So geometric pattern is made up of repeating shapes, just like these. Squares, circles, triangles, stars, all these different shapes down here. And there's all kinds of other things too, and we're going to go into those in the practice. But you can use them in lots of different ways. What kinds of ways could you use a pattern like this, do you think? Wrapping paper? Anybody else? Clothing, yeah, textiles. Stained glass. Ooh, that'd be pretty, wouldn't it? Yeah. What else? Anybody else? Wallpaper. Yep. Just all kinds of print applications, right? So we can use them in branding as well. So you can wrap your packaging with these. If you're in graphic design 4 right now, I highly recommend you do something like this on your branding, on your brand guideline. You can utilize it in all kinds of stuff, right? For your packaging. This is a Chinese thing. Of course, you'd have a logo and stuff on there probably. Wrapping paper, like Sam said. We all love seeing our stuff on wrapping paper. If you're in my design club, you've already seen that, but that would be gorgeous. Screensaver, website background, blankets, towels, you know, fabrics, as Christian said. Wall decor, you know. That's a beach towel on a chair at a beautiful ocean. And merchandise. I mean, you can use it on anything, basically, right? These are all mock-ups created with a new program I've started using called Place It. It is not free, but I do have subscription. So if you want to use it, just let me know and I'll give you that information. It took me 2 seconds to make these mock-ups instead of using Photoshop. So where can we sell this kind of stuff? You can sell your artwork anywhere, right? There's tons of online services you can use, and we're going to go through some of those. I also have a handout if anybody wants one of all of them. This is just a few of them. So you can use Etsy to sell your digital work. You can use Zazzle, Sellfy, Redbubble is a great place. You do it. Redbubble is a lot like what I just showed you with the mock-ups. You say, I want to do a bag. You upload your design. It gives you a mock-up. You sell it, and they print it on demand, right? And you just roll money in. Print it whenever you need, and whenever an order comes in. Patreon, Fiverr, ArtStation, Adobe buys your stuff, FreePick buys your stuff. There's so many other ones, right? There's a list of them right there for everybody if you want one. But if you go to one of these websites, let's go to Redbubble. Is it going to work? Yes. Sell your art. There it is. So you click on it, you do a little research. I've never sold my art on any of these platforms, but I thought it might be good to include this because if you're making all this cool stuff, why not utilize it? Why not sell it, right? Of course, it wants me to do an email, but you can sell T-shirts, and it gives you all these beautiful mock-ups as part of your, you know, subscription, right? Has anybody ever bought anything off Redbubble or sold anything on Redbubble? No? How do you sell your stuff, Odalis? Word of mouth? Person to person or Facebook. Okay, all right. But these are just some really great places to go. And this presentation is available for y'all if you want to click on it in the module. So let's go to Zazzle, same kind of thing. You can sell your artwork there. You just tell it what you want to, or people go on there and they say, oh, I'd like that print on a sock. So they order the sock, the print comes on it, you get a percentage of the money. So it's pretty cool, pretty cool. Zoom out. So let's go into the actual assignment. I've never done one of these myself, so it's going to be kind of fun to learn with you. I don't think it's going to be that difficult, but you could take the quiz after we do our demonstration tomorrow and Wednesday. That's the part one, demonstration and quiz. The practice assignment is what we'll be doing tomorrow and Wednesday. Then we have your actual assignment, and I've got the resources downloaded for you, so we'll look at those. And then your mock-ups. So if we go into the module, tools, here's your practice assignment. In here, you will see, if you can see that, there is an Illustrator file already ready for you. All you have to do is open it and follow the directions. It's in a couple of places. There's a quiz right here. Come on. The actual assignment itself has a template for you as well, and you also have creative briefs for your pattern. So you can't just make any kind of pattern that you want. You're going to be given a specific brief. So let's download that real quick and take a look at it. Open, let's save it. So I've already made a folder on my desktop because I'm organized like that. It's right here, 132 work. In there, I've got my practice assignment ready to go, my creative briefs, I've got 2 of them, and I've got my geometric pattern templates. So let's open up the practice assignment, and you won't have access to any of this until you do your orientation activity. So if we open up the practice assignment, you can see And I'll be demonstrating this tomorrow. Hey, how are you?
Because he said, the student said that he's in this building.
He should be. You know where the stairs are?
Yes.
There's a room right to the right of the stairs. He might be in there.
Yeah, it was just the room was dark.
Okay.
So we weren't sure.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I really don't.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Have a good day.
You too. All right, so basic shapes we're going to go over, which you probably already know, but there's some new things in Adobe Illustrator that you may not know about how to adjust these. The Pathfinder tool, a little demonstration of what that does. The Shape Builder tool, this link is missing. I'll have to fix it. How to expand strokes, that's going to be super important. So you're going to draw some strokes per these specifications. Then you're going to repeat them and outline them, or basically expand that appearance so you can edit the paths. Then we have offset paths. This can be a little tricky. Offset paths continued. This kind of reminds me of your logo. Karina, you couldn't see through the logo, and you have to be able to see through things, especially if you're putting them on t-shirts. So hopefully this will kind of help you with that. Rotate and transform tools. You're going to recreate these shapes, and you're going to do exactly what is shown here to replicate the graphics. This is a new tool in Illustrator that's amazing. So I don't know if it has anything to do with this assignment really, but I really wanted to share that with you. It's called the Objects on a Path tool. And just a tiny touch on blending, because you may want to use blending in your pattern. And that's it for the practice. So it's 10 slides. Everything should be locked. It's not vectorized, so it's all just PNGs, so you can't cheat. Which I know you wouldn't anyway, but let's don't save. So now we're going to go into the pattern template for the actual assignment real quick, because y'all might get a real big jump on these. Open up the template. All the template is a 11 by 17 document with some guides. There are 12 squares, and each one of these squares needs to be filled with a beautiful repeating pattern that works together, like the actual assignment shows in the introduction. We also have our creative briefs. You're going to open that up, and you're going to pick one of these companies, just one. So let's say you pick up Pioneer's outdoor gear. Rugged, adventurous, and nature-inspired. This pattern should evoke a sense of exploration, featuring angular or sharp geometric forms that represent mountains or terrains. So it's giving you a little bit of artistic direction, but not giving you the answers, right? It also suggests a color scheme, earth tones with pops of vibrant accent colors. So you're going to have to go and find a color scheme. You might be able to find that in your swatches panel, or you may need to go online and look up, do some research. Your mock-up application for the last part of the assignment, it's suggesting camping gear, backpacks, or tents. So putting your pattern on something that's relatable to this brand, okay? And there's lots to choose from. I'm not going to make you do all different ones. If 3 of you get the same one, that's absolutely fine. It'd be nice to see who does what with it. So those are the creative briefs. Instead of just doing whatever you want, you will have a direction and have to think about this. So there's a template, the practice. If you look at the introduction, this is what your end result should look like. Something similar to this, but not necessarily the same, of course, because if I'm doing an eco-friendly coffee company, I might use some beautiful burnt umbers and some reds and some browns and some beiges, right? I might have completely different ideas. I might have a coffee bean kind of shape in there. I don't know. I got to do the research and do the thinking and look it up. So it should be a fun project, I think. In the isometric illustration module, there's no test. That was the only quiz. I just threw it in there just to annoy you. We'll have an isometric presentation next Monday. You will have a handout, which I've already printed, and you're going to actually, by hand, you're going to draw some isometric shapes so you can understand what it is. Because if you go right into the document and digital, you kind of lose track. It's like getting lost in a forest. So doing it by hand, it might kind of get you in that right, like muscle memory with your brain to think about it, because it seems a little backwards and upside down when you get into the digital zone. So you'll have that handout. I'll then do a demonstration, and you're going to have an isometric practice, which you'll be recreating the shapes that you've drawn by hand with Illustrator. And then you're going to create a vision board for your isometric assignment. So I want you to go and do some research. So if you look at the assignment itself, some of the examples, there's some pretty serious stuff here, right? And this is, we're not doing the perspective grid, we're doing isometric. So we're not going to be using the perspective grid. It's a bit too complicated, and I've never used it, and I've been using Illustrator for 20 plus years. So this is something I would definitely use. So there's all kinds of things you can use isometric illustration for, like infographics and architectural renderings, fantasy worlds for a game, all kinds of wonderful things. So hopefully you can get really creative with this. And I'm also going to share with you or show you in here how to create actions in Adobe Illustrator. So Photoshop has actions. I don't know if InDesign does, but Illustrator does, where you can tell it to, you can draw a rectangle and tell it, I want an isometric right, and it does it for you. So that might be really helpful to develop some actions, and then you'll learn how to do the actions. And you can just push play on every shape to tell it right, left, top, right, left, top. It automatically does it for you. It's like a little tape recorder. Module 3, 3D techniques. There's so much to explore in this with the new materials, 3D materials in Adobe Illustrator. You can put custom textures on your stuff. We're going to get into a practice assignment where you'll do the text, you'll do the bevel and emboss, you'll do the inflate, you'll do the rotate, revolve, all these different things that are available. This is really fun, and look how beautiful, right? So I'm hoping your assignment, it will be a combination of a lot of different ways to do 3D. It might be, I don't know, it could be a galactic universe, or it could be anything. So your creativity is really going to come into play. The practice assignments are pretty set in stone. You need to follow those directions, but then you're wide open to do whatever you want with the assignment. So that's sometimes the hardest part, right? Coming up with the ideas. So we can always do some brainstorming as well. And as I said, we're going to discuss this collaborative project. I've seen some really good things done with groups of students, especially like murals, especially in the fine art department. They do it with paint and charcoal and pencil and things. But each student gets a square of a larger picture, and they get to illustrate each square, that one square, and it all matches together, and you see everybody come together as one big picture. That's one idea. Or the calendar. But I think the calendar would be everybody would be so different on the calendar. But I don't know if y'all have some other ideas for that. I definitely want to do a collaborative thing, kind of like the stickers, they all came together in the end, right? So think on that if you have some time for a collaborative project, and I'll throw some ideas at you, and maybe we can come up with a really good plan. But that would incorporate, what you learned in 1 and 2. You could do some 3D, you could do some blending, you could do some low poly, you could do all kinds of different things on a nice collaborative illustration. All right, it is only 1:30. All right, what questions do y'all have? None? You want to jump in? Yeah? All right. Let's do it. So geometric patterns tool practice. If you can't see this, you have not done your quiz. So go ahead and knock that quiz out. It'll automatically open. Let's go through the assignment real briefly. So you're going to refine your technical skills, kind of get a warm up. You've been gone for a month. Maybe you haven't touched Illustrator in a while. It's just going to refresh your skills. Bolster your confidence with some essential tools. It's also going to help with your geometric pattern. You're going to download this file, and you're going to follow the demonstration as best as you can. You don't have to do it right now. This is being recorded, like I said, and you've got until, when is this due? practice assignment is due on Sunday, so you get all the way till Sunday to get this done. So you might, find it difficult to use the transform and rotate tools. I always have, and I might even have trouble doing it today, but that's what it's all about. You got plenty of time to figure it out. So tool proficiency, 25 points, technical execution, 25 points, following instructions and completion and presentation. That's a big one. So, and I'll do a little demo on completion and presentation here in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my practice. And it says it's missing a link, just ignore it. It's just a screenshot. If you can't see it though, let me know and I'll upload a new version. So I'm going to start out with window workspace, printing and proofing. That's how I like to work. I don't use the properties panel very much. Printing and proofing, that way all my tools are at the top of my screen, which is what I like. I've got my swatches open. I don't need a gradient right now. I do need probably a stroke panel, so I'm going to go ahead and open up a stroke panel. Grab that, put it to the side. So you've got the original on the left, and the artboard on the right is for you to work on, okay? So I want you to mimic each of these artboards as closely as possible, being neat and tidy and aligning your things and just really replicating this besides the text. You don't have to reproduce the text. So the rectangle tool, we're going to recreate these shapes. You can do it over here if you want to, or you can do it over here. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to give my fill a brighter color so I can see it. And I'm just going to start recreating all these shapes. I'm going to get rid of the stroke. Here's another one. I think this was a rectangle to start with, and then I just pulled in with the direct selection tool the corner like that. There's that one. Another rectangle. Pull in all the corners by pulling in those little things right there. That's close enough. And if you don't want to see the fill, you can always flip it so you can see what you're doing, right? And then we have another one, which is basically a square. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to just round this corner and this corner by clicking one time and then holding my shift key, clicking again. So just those two corners are highlighted, and then I could pull in those corners just like that. So it doesn't affect all four when you click individually and hold your shift key, right? So that's the first one. And I might go ahead. This is all should be locked, so you won't have to worry about it. Just go ahead and pull these over here. Come here. And give them a white color, whatever colors you want. I'm not strict when it comes to color. So I've got a duplicate right there. Next one is the circle. Let's zoom in. First one's pretty easy. It is an ellipse. Hold my shift key down. If I don't, that's what happens, right? So we hold our shift key down to keep it beautiful. Let's give it a different color so you can see it. So there's my circle. Pretty close. There we go. I'm just going to duplicate this circle by click, hold, option, drag. And now I want to pull this down here. Now, if I do this, that's not what I want. How can I move this, just this anchor point right here? Anybody?
Direct selection.
Direct selection tool. So click on the direct selection. If I don't deselect, that's what happens, right? So make sure you've deselected first, then you can pull down on that curve. So there's the second shape. So the third shape is basically the same as the second one. I'm just going to duplicate it. Or I'll do it right. I'll do it all at the same time. Sometimes I might want to start a circle in the middle. This is kind of complicated, but it's shortcut keys. If I click Option Shift, I can pull from the middle. I use it all the time. So if it's something you can learn and remember, I would recommend you do. Now I need to pull down the point again. So I'm going to deselect, get my direct selection tool, go to that little point there, and I'm just going to hold my shift key and pull down all the way to the bottom. Now, how can I make this into a point?
handle screen them.
You can do that, and I'll do that first, and then I'll show you a quicker way. Right here. If you can't, I know it's kind of hard to see, but if you look at the top of my toolbar, there's a convert to anchor. It's also in the properties panel, but you can do it by hand like this, just by pulling, or you can just click on that and it does it for you, right? So that's a good thing to know. Now we have a half circle. How am I going to do that? Anybody? That's it. That's exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to draw a circle, holding my shift key to keep it round. I'm going to get a rectangle tool, and there's 50 ways I could do it, but this is just quick and easy. I could erase this point and pull the handles in and all that stuff, but why bother? Just draw a rectangle over the other half. Grab both pieces. So I've got both of them selected. Get my shape builder tool and option to get that negative sign and just drag right through. So there's my half circle. Command negative, 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 space bar. And I'm going to grab all these and take them over there too. Make them white. So there's the second part, and next is triangles. I know this is kind of beginner stuff, but I think it's important to sometimes go over beginner stuff sometimes. So how do we make a triangle? Good. So we could do a pen tool, but that's not what we want to do. We want to use a polygon tool. Pen tool would work fine as well, but if we use a polygon tool, and that's underneath your rectangle, all you got to do is click one time and tell it 3 or 10 or 15 or whatever, how many sides you want, and it makes you a triangle. You can then adjust the size, of course. Well, it happens to be almost perfect. That's pretty cool. Hold my shift key down, give it a stroke. All right, so this one, how do you think I made that one? Dang it, Sam, you just got the answers. All right, good job. Triangle again. Let's get rid of the fill. I'm not fussing. I'm just trying to be funny. All right, so we've got the triangle. I don't see any corners. Why is that? Oh, there they are. I need to zoom in. Oh, they disappeared again. There's only one up here. So what have I got to do to see the other ones? Anybody? Direct selection tool. And they pop right up. See them down here? So sometimes it works with the regular selection tool, sometimes it doesn't. So you got to figure out how to get to where you need to go. I'm going to click on this one, make it red. And I'm going to click on this one, holding my shift key, make it red. And I could do them individually too if I wanted to, but I've got them both highlighted in red. This one isn't highlighted. So that means I'm just going to be able to pull these to it, just like that. All right, next, do what, Christian? Oh, really? So you don't have to go straight to the direction? Okay.
So like if you make the next triangle, you do the, I'm skipping.
So highlight it, hit command. Oh, look at that. Look at that. He found a shortcut. So instead of saying, oh my God, where are they? Push command and they're right there. And it lets you pick them up too. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Uh-oh. I got to keep the command tool. Command Z. Let me try it again. 1, 2. Hold the command key. It's still not doing it for me.
I just grabbed one together, so they were already grabbed together. But I don't know if it's going to.
Okay.
Might be doing it for all 3.
All right. Well, I mean, it's always good to know it. I didn't know that. Holding the command key shows you where the dots are. All right. This one is basically the same. I'm going to take that triangle. I'm going to duplicate it. Get it as close as I can to the right size.
It's command shift, and you could click.
Okay. Okay. Command shift, not just command. All right. So this one, click on. I got to get my direct selection tool again. Let me zoom in. Direct selection tool. I just want this point here, so I'm clicking on it first, because if I don't click on it first, and just drag, it's going to do all of them. So I want to click on the one dot first to highlight it, then pull it down. So there's that one. Then we've got this full one with all the rounded corners. I'm just going to duplicate this again, shrink it a little bit, holding my shift key. This is a perfect equilateral triangle, I believe they call them. Let's pull it up to where it belongs. Maybe a little bit bigger. All right, and now I'm not going to click on any particular point. I'm going to pull just that one, and there is my all rounded corners. I'm going to pull these over to the other side, and just for good measure, I want to align them. So I'm going to go up here to the top of my screen where I can see I can align them at the top or the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and align them in the middle right here. Let's pull it up a little, well, maybe at the bottom. So it makes them all beautifully aligned. If I wanted to align them at the top, I could do that, or the middle. Alignment keys, I use them all day, every day. All right, next we have stars. And these are all based off the same star. We're just going to duplicating the same star. We do the polygon tool again, or no, we have a star tool, don't we? Yeah. So if I click on the star tool and let go, click on the document, it's going to give me a 5-pointed star, which is what I want to start with. And there it is. Let's get rid of the fill. So I just want to shrink it down and rotate it. I can rotate it like this. Hold on. What is going on? It won't let me rotate. Oh, there we go. So I want to just get it kind of close to where it is. And I can hold my shift key for that, but it's not doing it right. But that's okay. Let's pull it down and just get it to roughly the same size. That's about right there. Let's give it a blue fill just for the heck of it. All right, there's my star. Now I'm going to duplicate this same star. I could go into the polygon or the star tool and tell it however many points this is, right? Or I could just duplicate this star and I can pull on this little widget right here. And it's going to do whatever I want. It's going to add or delete points. So I can count however many points, which I probably need to. Or I'll just put it on top and see if it works like that. Maybe I can wing it, right? I just want to get it as close as I can to what is underneath it. Something like that, I think. And then I'm just going to pull it to the side a little bit. And this right here will allow me to pull in and out. So let's see if that matches. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with that. So there's that one. Next one, same thing again. Grab that star. We're going to pull on the sides a little bit to give it, I don't know. It's telling me how many points there are. So let's start with 13. This one's kind of going out a little bit. This is a great way to make a starburst for a special of the day or something. And you can still keep adjusting these however you want to. So get it as close as you can. I'm not worried about counting your points, okay? I just want to see that you're able to adjust your star points and the depth of them. So next one, I'm not going to duplicate that star. I'm just going to take this one. And I'm going to get my direct selection tool after I deselect. Zoom in again. And let's see if it gives me the circles. It does. So what I want to do on this one, I don't know if you can see it, I want to round these corners. So I've got it selected with the direct selection tool. I'm just going to pull just like that. And that's not doing exactly what I need to do. What did I do to make that happen?
Doing right now with that one.
Do what?
What I'm doing right now with that one.
Uh-huh.
So with the direct selection tool. So you know when you first make the shape and it has the two rings for the outer side and the inner side?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get back there. All right.
No.
Yeah, if you keep
This one?
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. Sweet. You can make some little flowers. So it's kind of fun to make mistakes and learn. Now I see it, you know? There was one on the outside and one on the inside. So let's go ahead and grab all these with our regular selection tool. And don't lock the locked layer because it's just going to cause you problems. Just work on the layer that's available for you. If we open up our layers, you can see it. So instructions are here. So everything that needs to be locked is locked, and then you do your work right here. That way it won't get everything starts moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and give those a white fill and no stroke again. So there's 10 points. I made it 10 so far. I got a long way to go. Is this not, do you feel like this is just too basic? No? Yeah? A little bit of a mix? I don't want to waste your time. So, all right, so we've got a mixed palette there. So if you find that this is something that you don't need help with, jump into the assignment. I mean, it's right there for you. If it is, then keep watching. So this next one, I'm just going to draw 2 circles and I'm going to duplicate them 4 times. So let's zoom in. And I'll just use this as a reference just for the heck of it, and I'll move it over there in a minute. So there's 1 circle, and I'm going to click, hold, Option, Shift, drag. And it doesn't matter if they're on top or on bottom, it really doesn't. I'm going to pull these over here, and I'm going to make 4 copies. So what's a good way to make 4 copies without making physically 4 copies? Anybody? Okay, click, hold, Option, Shift, drag, right? Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D. So they're all perfectly aligned. They're beautiful. They're all exactly the same. So what does this want me to do? This wants me to unite them to minus the front, intersect, exclude, and divide. This is a tool I very rarely use, but a lot of people do like it. So I just wanted you to revisit it to see if it's something that you might like to use. Window, Pathfinder. That's what we're looking for. There's a lot of different options in the Pathfinder. You've got your unite, meaning it joins everything together. You got your minus front, so it would take what's in front out of the shape that's behind it. Intersect is going to get whatever is intersected or crossed over is going to be still there when you're done. Exclude is the absolute opposite of that. So whatever is intersecting will be excluded from the design. Then we have divide. And what's the other one? I think that was it. I think I only did 4 or 5. And that was all of those. So the first one is unite. So I'm going to grab these 2 circles right here, and I'm going to click this unite button. And now if you do a Command Y, we have a 1 solid object, right? The next one is minus front. So I'm going to grab the next 2 circles, go to the next option, which is minus front. And it took away the top circle. So on the example, the circles were in a different order. So that's okay. If yours does this, that's okay. Next one is intersect. Grab the circles, intersect. So we just get the middle part there. It got rid of everything else. Then we have the exclude. What part's going to be left on this one, do you think? On exclude. Good. So it's going to get rid of the middle, just like that. And then what was the last one? Divide. So divide, grab it, click divide. What that does is it keeps, oops, it's grouped, so I'm going to ungroup it. It literally cuts it into pieces. So now you can divide your object, right, if that's what you want to do. So it's kind of like the shape builder tool. So that's the second page done. Oh, I got a 20 now. And I want to make sure that they're all, you know, nicely colored and everything's looking pretty similar. And it's nicely aligned, looks good. Composition, it matters in everything. So this one is obviously the link's missing, but I may need to update that if you can't see it, which is kind of hard to see here. But what we're going to do on this one is we're going to create the shapes that you see here. Then we're going to duplicate them 3 times right here. And we're going to use the shape builder to delete, separate, and combine sections to replicate the white ones down here. Let me see if I can find that link real quick. Window links. It might be at home. Screenshot. Where is it? Missing link. It's not here. Dang it. I'll find it and I'll bring it back tomorrow. Let's move on to the strokes because I don't want y'all to not be able to see something. I can't see that. So on the strokes, you're going to create your original stroke and make the required adjustments to match the examples provided below. I don't need my Pathfinder anymore. I don't need my layers. So the first one is a 10-point line segment. Easy peasy. Go into my shapes, grab my line segment, and I'm just going to do them maybe parallel to what's already here. So I'm holding shift to keep it straight because if I don't, it's going to go all over the place. So hold shift, draw myself a line, make sure I have a white stroke, and it's 10 point. Done. The next one is same thing, just with rounded ends. That's easy to do, right? Get in your stroke panel, round the ends. Done. The next one is a little different. This is a zigzag. So what we're going to do, and it's got rounded ends too, so I'm just going to duplicate this one, pull it down, option drag. So all I'm doing is click, hold, option drag. How can I make this wiggly? Huh? No, it's not in the profile. It's a little bit, it's a cool thing I've just started using. It's in, where is it? Effect. It's not there. It's in distort and transform. And you can do all kinds of stuff there, but zigzag is the one we want to pick. And I could see using this a lot. So zigzag, it's going to pop up the panel here and it's going to ask me how big do I want my zig and my zag, how many ridges do I want it smooth, or do I want it pointy, which right now it's pointy. So if I just kind of pull on these little sliders, you see what's happening, right? I'm getting this beautiful zigzag, but I don't want it to be jagged. I want it to be smooth, just like that. Beautiful, right? Beautiful tool. All right, so there's my third one. I'm just going to go ahead and drag that over there because I need it over there. Now, the next one is your width profiles. I'm going to grab a regular stroke or redraw one, whatever. Drag it down. This one is width profile 1. So that's where we go into either our stroke panel or up at the top, and we tell it profile 1. You can see it right there. It says width profile 1. And we end those strokes with beautiful points, right? Very delicate and attractive way to change a stroke. Then I'm going to duplicate the same stroke here, and I'm going to do width profile 2. And that's that one. And it's exactly the same. And that's all we're doing is we're just regenerating what we've got here to make a copy to put on the second page. So if let's say I want to align these things, let's say I've got them all over the place, I'm going to grab the whole chunk all together, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to, where is it? This one, horizontal align. Now they're all beautifully aligned. So if I do a command Y at this point, you'll see they're all straight lines. So the next page is where we're going to expand the appearance. Because if we go into regular view, this is a zigzag right here, right? But if you look at it in wireframe, it's just straight lines, so you can't really adjust it very much. So if I wanted to change this zag or zig, whatever it's called, and I went and got my direct selection tool to try to adjust this path, it's not going to let me because it's a line, it's not an object. So what we want to do for this second one, and we'll take a break after this, we're going to copy this whole thing right here, Command C. We're going to roll down to this one, and we're going to paste it. So what we're going to do here is we're basically going to expand appearance on all of these at the same time. So we're going to go up to Object, Expand Appearance, and now you can see the path and it's been expanded, right? It's still not a shape, but you can literally take your direct selection tool and you could adjust this if you wanted to, whereas with the line, that was not possible. So expanding appearance, you don't want to do it for everything, but I just want you to know it's there. But I still haven't finished because I've got to give these a stroke. So let's zoom in. This is the tricky part. So if I give this a stroke, it's already got a stroke. How am I going to add a stroke to it so I can see through it? Anybody?
You're gonna expand it again?
Kinda. So let's say, okay, I want this, and we'll just do it with the regular stroke. I want this line segment here to look like this, like it's empty. But if I go to Object Expand, it might, I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, it is. Okay. There we go. Yeah. I was going to path outline stroke, but now we have a shape. So I'll do that again. Command Z. So let's pull this. I've already expanded them because this zigzag is expanded, right? It's bendy. So now what I'm going to do, let's just pull this down and show you on the zigzag. Duplicate. I'm going to expand again. So Object, Expand, not expand appearance, but expand. It's going to ask me, do I want to expand the fill and the stroke? Yes, I do. Click OK. Now, look what happened. Now we could add a gradient to it. We could do all kinds of stuff. But that's as far as you can really go with expand on that. You may have a use for it at some point, but that's what we need for this assignment. So now you can see right here, it's got a fill, but it doesn't have a stroke. So let's put a stroke. We're going to flip that. And now we've got a stroke. So that's what I want you to do on this one, is I want you to take all of these shapes right here, and you can do them all at once. Grab. Right now they're literally, well, those two have already been expanded, sorry. These are typically just lines. We're going to go ahead and do Object Expand, Fill and Stroke. We're going to flip that fill to the stroke, and now we've got what we want for our 10 points. We don't on this one or that one, so we got to flip those. And I might pull this up a little bit just to make it look like the other one. There we go. So now I've got, I'm almost passing. All right, let's take a quick break. Y'all rest your eyeballs, and if we don't finish today, we do have this scheduled for the next 2 days, so we got plenty of time. Save. Any questions? No. How you been, Ian? Good. Nice to see you. I was surprised when I saw you on my roster. That was pretty cool. Yeah, click on your path, your stroke, you got it? Go to Object, Envelope Distort. I'm sorry, Effect. Envelope, Distort Transform. Down there. Yeah, and there's twists and all kinds of stuff. And there's smooth options. And you just want to mimic that as closely as possible. I'm not counting the ridges, but just, do it as closely as possible.
At least like show you try.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've tried 20 times with the appearance panel to make that happen, Sam, and I just finally just went back to my old way to do it. It's just the easiest way, just copy paste behind, add a stroke, take it out. What are you doing?
Yeah, for offset path.
Yeah.
I just tried the offset path first.
In the appearance panel or just in the object, or
Just an object.
that's where I found it worked best. Yeah. And I use that all the time, like literally all the time. That is a tool you all need to know, especially for logos. All right, don't forget, we got donuts and all that good stuff. I'll be right back. If the coffee's not hot, we do have a microwave. In fact, I just need coffee. I don't need girls. Don't forget to sign in or tell me where I'm absent.
That would be good. Chicken salad? Chicken salad? French fries? I had a steak the other day.
You want to come sit and watch, you can.
I appreciate it.
Take a class. All right. So next one, let's go. Let's just do this one real quick. Number 9. It's super quick, super easy. I've given you the icons there. They should not be locked. They should be right here. So no matter where those icons are, let's scatter them all over the place. And this could be squares, circles, whatever. I just downloaded these from FreePick just for the heck of it, just to have some. If I draw a circle, and this will be coming really handy if you're doing infographics or a brochure that needs to have some kind of numbers or icons. Whatever shape you draw, let's give it a stroke. So I've got this little white circle, and I can get rid of the stroke whenever. I'm going to grab all these icons at the same time. I'm going to click on this tool down here, which is new. It's called Objects on a Path tool. I'm going to click on it. I've got my icons selected. I've got my Objects on a Path tool clicked. Now all I have to do is go click on a path, and it automatically puts them on there. How crazy is that? You can adjust it, the spacing, with the same kind of little slider that you have on the star and the triangle and all those different things. So that's just a really cool tool you may find handy if you haven't used it before. Back in the olden days, you would have to draw your circle, let's say, and let's just go ahead and do Command Z. Let's say we had our circle back in the olden days. We would have to take each of these icons and pop them on manually and hope that they were symmetrical and they looked good. But now you don't have to do that. All you got to do is grab all the icons, click on that tool, click on your path, and it does it for you. Ta-da! Okay, this is complicated. We'll do that tomorrow. That's kind of complicated. We'll do that tomorrow. This one we can't do. So let's do the blend tool. I could demonstrate this for hours. This is such a simple blend that you're going to have to do, but I'm going to demonstrate some other blends in case you may want to use them. So let's start out with the simple one. Let's zoom in, Command plus. When I'm working, zooming in and out, is it clear for y'all to see? Is it easy to understand? Okay. So basically we got shape 1, shape 2. We need 2 circles. So let's grab a circle, make sure it's got a white stroke so we can see it. And we'll just draw 1 circle here and another one, maybe a little bit bigger. I can align these so they're perfectly centered with my alignment tools right here. Horizontal align and vertical align. So now they're perfect, just like the ones on the other side, just like that. So what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to create this, which is a whole bunch of circles, right? And I could do that manually by copying and pasting and making it bigger and all that stuff. In fact, I'll demonstrate that real quick. Let's say copy, paste in front, make it a little bit bigger, paste in front, make it a little bit bigger. But I'm not going to get the right, I'm going to be off on my measurements. It's going to be all over the place, right? If I try to do it, I could do it, but I'm not going to waste my time. So right now we have 2 lines, 2 circles. So what I can do instead is grab both of those circles. So I got them both selected. I can go over here to this tool right here, which is our blend tool. And I'm going to double click on it. And it's going to pull up the blend options panel. So right now it's got smooth color, which I never use. I'm going to go to specified steps, and I can tell it how many steps of repetition I need. So what I'm telling it is I want to make this many copies of this circle from small to big. So let's say 8, just to start with. Click OK. Watch, nothing's going to happen. I got to tell it to happen. So I've got to go click on the circle, and I got to click on the other circle. Then I get that beautiful, perfect blend. But Command Y is still only 2 circles. You can't see the circles. So they're there, but you're not going to be able to color them because you've got to do some other things. So let's get back to a different tool. I just want to kind of move this around a little bit. So we got 2 circles. Here's one. Look at that. How cool is that? I could have fun all day with that. You can move it. You can do some cool psychedelic stuff with it. That's just combining 2 circles. And we'll move on to this other part in a minute. Let's try something else. Let's do a square. Let's do a circle. And let's do a triangle. Or maybe, oh, we'll do a star. What the heck? There's a star. Now I'm going to give these each a fill. So I'm going to push X, and if you watch what I'm right now, I'm on a stroke, and I want it to be on the fill. I'm going to go X, and it's going to pull that fill up to the front. So it saves me a little movement time. I need to get my swatches over here, so I'm going to give each of these a different fill. So let's say blue for that one. Push X again. Let's do yellow. Oops, flip it. And then let's do maybe a pink or magenta. I'm going to get rid of the strokes, because if you have a stroke on it, it's going to make a big difference. So all 3 shapes, and maybe I'll make that star a little bit smaller. And this is just to show you what the blend tool does. I'm going to grab all 3 shapes. I'm going to double click on my blend tool again. This time I want to, we'll do 8, and then we'll adjust it. So 8 copies of each shape in between, and you're going to see these things morph from a square to a circle, from a circle to a star. So I've clicked OK. Now what do I need to do to make it happen? Anybody remember? Click. I got to click. It depends on where I click too. If I click here and then here and then here, it's going to have a completely different blend than if I clicked over here, over here, and over here. So you got to be, maybe you want to click from the center. Let's see if that works. Yes, it does. So that way everything's kind of consistent. But do you see the square is now morphed into a circle? And the circle is morphing into a star, right? It's pretty cool. Now, if I did it a different way and I went from the star to the square to the circle, it does the same thing. So it just does it, whatever arrangement I tell it is what's going to happen. So let's go back to that first one. Let's grab it again. We'll grab all 3. We'll double click, and you can also go up to Object Blend Options. That's also there. But I usually just go to the tool itself, and it brings up the same thing. So let's do 8, and we'll click on the centers again. Why is it not doing it? I've got it selected, 8 specified steps. Okay, there we go. I was looking for that little tool right there. So I'm going to click on there, click on there, click on there. So let's say I want to add some more copies in between. All I have to do is make sure it's selected and double click on that blend tool again. And I can literally use my arrow keys to multiply the shapes just like that. And it's giving me hundreds, right? Or I can go back down like that and get it to where it's less, depending on what effect you're looking for. But I said 12 right now, but I can keep going. I could do 6,000 if I want to. There's no limit to how many pieces you can blend from one to another. So let's say I want 35. Now, let's do a Command Y and see. We've still got 3 shapes. That's it. If I wanted to expand these, and I'll show you that in a minute, I can do that. But for right now, I just want to show you a couple of different things we can do with this. I'm going to get my group selection tool, one with the plus sign, and it's going to let me pull just one of these shapes. So I'm just grabbing this shape. Let's say I just wanted to have a stroke. And then on this one, what happened to my stroke? Oh, it's still there. Okay, let's make that one a stroke. There we go. Now the star is just a stroke. So it can make some really beautiful things happen, right? And you can move all this stuff. You can get your direct selection tool and you can pull, you know, there's all kinds of things you can do. It takes a little, it's kind of hard to do to get the result that you want, but for something like this, you know, like a Target logo or something, that's easy to do. So how do I get from this to this, which is different colors? Expand. I'm going to duplicate this so you can see the before and after. And I'm going to, this one's selected. I'm going to go ahead and go Object Expand. Click OK. Command Y. Now you can see it's all separate, right? We've got lots and lots of different pieces. I go to color one though, it's still highlighting everything. Let's see if I ungroup it, if that helps. No, I'm going to have to use the shape builder to cut these apart or divide or whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and use the shape builder and I'm just going to go into each one of these, kind of like a paper cut, and separate all those shapes. So now if I pull them apart, you can see they're all individual. That way now I can color. So I can go in and grab whatever I want to grab and color it, and whatever colors you choose is fine. But that's that part, and class is over. So we will continue this tomorrow. In the original Illustration 2 class, I did have a blending module. Is that something you would like to have back in here or not? No, I didn't think there was really that big of a use for it, but it's beautiful and artistic, but I don't know how you might apply it to other things that you might in the real world use. But if we have time, maybe I'll throw that in as an extra project. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. First day, you stay till the end. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, my schedule is right here in instructor information. I'm here at 9 o'clock on Mondays and 10 o'clock Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays with an open classroom for you if you need it. And those hours are just for me to help you or for you to get caught up on your homework or things like that. Don't leave your creative briefs. Take those with you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. And if there are tools that you think about that would be really beneficial to you in this class, always, you know,